All right, now we got some cool, exciting news here on the Inland Sports Show. Joining us live is the athletic director for Canyon Springs High School, Justin Remington. And Justin, we're talking Canyon Springs and we're talking Hall of Fame. And we've had some great coaches, great athletes come through the Canyon Springs program. So I know this is the maiden voyage, the inaugural Hall of Fame class. So before we get to the names on this, first class for Canyon Springs High School, why start the Hall of Fame? Why do it now? What was kind of the thinking behind it?
This was something that when I got into Canyon Springs in the 2020 year, when we had that COVID shutdown, it was something that I was planning to start. And so, obviously COVID kind of threw a wrench in all of that. But, now kind of things are getting back to normal. So it's time to, represent and connect our students to those of the past. And I felt like that connection was a little bit lacking when I got in. And so that was one of the reasons why. But like you said, there's just so many great and talented individuals who have been through the Canyon Springs, quad and through all of our facilities. And it's only right that they be acknowledged for what they've accomplished.
Justin, was it difficult coming up with this first class? Not in terms of who's good enough. It's like maybe you had too many good choices, and maybe you've got now a backlog of coaches and athletes or contributors or whoever that you're like, hey, at some point we got to get these guys in because we've had so many great people play for us, coach for us, help us along the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of people and plenty of years that this can continue to go on. This is going to be, we have 8 this year. We're probably going to have another large class next year. There's just so many athletes, administrators, coaches. So it's not just athletics, really. I want this to go into, teachers and all sorts of contributors that have helped. So it's going to be something that's going to continue on and hopefully it continues on long after I'm done at Canyon.
All right, Justin. So I don't want to steal your thunder. So let's go ahead and say who is in the class, the very first class for the Canyon Springs Hall of Fame, because it's some pretty big names. If you're an Inland Empire sports fan, you're going to recognize all of these names.
Absolutely. And I'll try to give a little bit of a background on each of them, but I won't go too much in depth. But let's start with coaches first. Jack Fogarty. Jack Fogarty he opened the school. He was our first football coach. Won our only 2 championships in football that we have right now, which is in 1988 and 1994. Very successful coach. He went on to coach at Valley View as well. He was at Norte Vista before Canyon Springs. So he's been around for sure and a very respected and well-known individual. Then we have Ray Rohde. Ray Rohde's there in the middle of that picture there. He opened the school as well. He was our wrestling coach. And he had 4 consecutive CIF championships from 91 and 94, 2 of which were dual meet championships. He had 15 individual CIF champions, 12 state placers, 5 state champion wrestlers, and he is in the California chapter Hall of Fame for wrestling. So very successful. And as you know, our wrestling program has just continued to build from where he's left off. Our wrestling program has always been very solid at Canyon Springs High School, and that's largely in part to the foundation that Ray Rohde set. Then we have Jeffrey Swigart. He was a cross country and track coach, and tons of great athletes went through his program along with, Coach Dave Tolbert, who, was right there with him every step of the way. And he's just many, many league championships, many trips deep into the playoffs, and just a wonderful coach. And he was around for a long, long time, almost like a Gale Hale, 20 something plus years, there. So that rounds out our coaches, and then we get into we have a principal that's being inducted. That's Don Hagan. He's there on the left-hand side. So he was a principal that opened up Canyon Springs, and he was there for 8 years. And he was also principal at Ramona at one time, and just a really great person. He very inspiring. He got out there. He wasn't afraid to get in the mix with the kids and really be motivating and cheer on everybody. But he put the right people in place to really get the school going on the right track. Very not just academic minded, but also athletically minded, right? So he really put the right people in place for Canyon Springs athletics to be successful. And then we go to athletes. So, we'll start with Greg and Eric Zomold, who, are regulars here on the Inland show. So both of them were on that 1988 team that won CIF football championship. They had great careers. They went on to play at Cal, and Eric went on to play in the NFL for 3 years for various teams. And so, now they're in the community coaching since, I think, 1997, right? And so they've continued to give back, serve the community, and we're very happy that they were, Canyon Spring alumni. We also have Anisha Limbrick Elliott. She was in track. She has our track hurdles record, but she's also was class president, very involved in a lot of the programs in school. She's an author. She's very big in the community with helping out schools, and she does the thing where she goes to schools, teaches the students how to do ties and how to be respectful and all of those different things. So she's very, very active in the community. And then we have Dreyon Rucker, so that this will round it out here. Dreyon Rucker. So Dreyon was a All-American linebacker. I don't know if anybody's really familiar with his story, but in 2003, he was an All-American. He had tons of tackles. He was, linebacker, and he was All-State first team, All-CIF Southern Section first team, All-CIF Division 5 first team, LA Times, you name it. Like, he had all these accolades, and he was part of that 2002 USC recruiting class that had Lendell White, Reggie Bush. It's dubbed the best USC recruiting class of all time. And so he was set to graduate 2003 from Canyon Springs. And during the summer, he was at the beach for his graduation party. And tragically, he ended up drowning. His dad ran through the tunnel for USC. There was Pete Carroll talked about Dreyon a lot. And he was very inspiring, very, very good athlete. And it was just a very tragic situation that happened. So we are so honored to be able to induct him into our Hall of Fame and honor what he had done and honor his memory.
Mm-hmm. Wow, Justin, what a special group. And again, we talked about making some difficult decisions because there's a lot of great athletes and coaches and contributors. And again, this sounds like it's going to be an annual thing. And, there's time to get a lot of those folks, into the Hall of Fame that deserve to be there. If people are interested, they want to support this somehow, they want to attend it, what's the best way they can get involved?
So at this point, we are actually sold out. The families are, like I said, a large class. They're bringing a lot of their own guests and things like that and family members. And so just with that, we've sold out of tickets. So for this year. But we are always looking for nominations. So we want to give the community a chance if they are interested in nominating anybody. They can go on our website. Our website is canyonspringsathletics.org. There's a tab that says more. Just click that more tab and look for the Hall of Fame nomination link. That link will take you to a form where you can submit an individual for consideration from our committee that we've put together.
Well, Justin, I think of you as a basketball coach, but I got to say, man, since you took over as AD at Canyon Springs, the logo, the mascot, your guys' social media presence, the way you promote your student athletes and making sure people know what this, maybe something as simple as, hey, here's our schedule. We'd love to see you come out, and root our Cougars on and all that stuff. Man, it's awesome. I think you're doing a fantastic job at Canyon Springs. And I don't know if you hear this enough, but man, you are doing a great job. And I'm sure, the folks at, Canyon Springs High School appreciate what you're doing to promote high school sports because you're doing awesome, man. I missed you on the basketball court, but I can see you found your calling. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. Got a great team, a great group of people around me that really help, do everything that you guys see. So can't take all the credit for it. They're really great group of people. So great coaches, great administration, great activities director, just all across the board, solid people that really, really put the kids first, put school culture first, and put the student experience at the forefront of everything. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, it definitely takes a team, and you got a good team with you there at Canyon Springs. Justin, I really appreciate it. Looking forward to the event, again, September 24th, and you can always hit them up on the website if you've got a nomination for a future Hall of Fame class for Canyon Springs High School. Thank you so much for the time, Justin. That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't forget that, Pep, you'll be there as well that night and graciously offered to host the evening. So we're really thankful for not just, that, but everything that you do for the student athletes in our area and all the hard work that you put to, promote athletics in the Inland Empire.
Well, as soon as you said steak dinner, I'm like, okay, what night? I'm there. Just tell me when I need to show up and I'll be there.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Justin. That's Justin Remington, AD, Canyon Springs High School, talking about that first Hall of Fame class. Thank you so much, Justin. Really appreciate it.